Culturally responsive teaching. Culture affects how students learn, behave, and communicate in schools. Cultural competence means teachers understand and respect students' different backgrounds. This helps them teach English learners more effectively. Teachers can include EL's culture by using stories, examples, and activities from their backgrounds. Culture also shapes how students learn best, so classrooms should feel safe and welcoming to all students. To help ELs learn English, teachers can use visuals, group work, and clear instructions. Some good examples include celebrating different cultures, using students' home language when possible, and connecting lessons to real life experiences. This helps all students feel included and respected in the classroom. So to go based on what I just read in my research that I did, I believe that culture is extremely important. As for myself and my experiences, I do work in a Hispanic, mainly Mexican region, like the school that I'm in. So most of my kids have a lot of similarities. They come from the similar backgrounds, they speak the similar languages, but there also is students that differ from my kids also in the classroom. So I found that when I am doing culture curriculum or culture activities, I have noticed that the students tend to be extremely interested, especially because they're hearing what they do at home, especially for my Hispanic students. A quinceañera is something really big that most of them do, celebrating Mexican Independence Day, Cinco de Mayo, and stuff like that. So it's really cool to experience like them making connections. Even though they celebrate the same things, they celebrate it differently. Another thing is like Christmas. Some of them open their gifts at 12 p.m. Others wait until the morning to open their gifts. So I really enjoy that, but also when they differ from one another, I enjoy how they ask questions and they're really engaged in the activity. So I really enjoy doing culture activity lessons and even speaking in their language. Most of my students are EL learners, so they usually almost always speak Spanish. So I do try to give instruction in Spanish, but also follow up with English just so they could get a broad understanding of the vocabulary and how it's being used and what the words mean. And I have experienced last year in my teaching and this year that it really does work. And even though the students aren't fluent in English, they do understand certain words because I do that. I do it in their native language first and then I do it in English. And it just gives them a better understanding. And also, just in a classroom environment as an educator, I believe that it is extremely important for all students to feel respected and included, whether that be doing lessons on their culture or different things and aspects like that. So I really enjoy that. The second part is supporting the needs of ELs in the classroom. To support all English learners, including those with special needs, which is my domain and where I am placed at. I am a special needs teacher. So teachers can use visual, simplified instruction, and flexible grouping to match different learning styles. Different instruction and one-on-one support helps meet individual strengths and needs. Building strong relationships, showing empathy, and using culturally responsive material support EL's social and emotional well-being, creating a safe, respectful environment, encouraging all participants to participate and to be confident in what they're saying and what they express. Understanding students' social, emotional, and cultural backgrounds is important when setting routines, and it helps create a classroom where all students feel valued and understood. This leads to better behavior, stronger relationships, and more effective learning for every student. So going based off my experience in the special education classroom, and they are middle schoolers, so a little more independent, but I have found that placing them in groups where their levels are the same, it is extremely beneficial, because sometimes I feel like an aide or a teacher doesn't necessarily have to be there because they kind of learn off each other. So they'll share different things. So for example, if I give them like a paper and saying like about the Mexican culture and what they do and what they believe in, it's so easy for them to just communicate with each other and find the answers instead of having like that one-on-one. I do have students that need that one-on-one based off their levels and just their abilities to do things. For example, like I have a student that doesn't necessarily know how to write, so he does need that one-on-one. But even though he's not able to fully do what the others are doing, just having them included in that, I have seen that it leaves a very positive impact on them, because they still feel, again, they feel valued, they feel respected, and they feel included. Another thing that I had mentioned is that when students do feel valued and understood, behavior tends to go down. Their behavior is beautiful. They act like great civilians. I have no issues with them. And also building strong relationships. I cannot stress that enough. I feel like as an educator, I never really, prior to being an educator, I didn't really necessarily feel like relationships with my students was like something that I really had to focus on. I felt it was more like setting the rules and setting a routine and just having like class management down. But truly, in my 2 years of experience, I truly believe that building a strong relationship with my students was like one of the best things that I ever did, because it's true when people say that students learn from people that they like, and I just feel like having that very strong foundation of a strong relationship, it's more effective for them. They want to learn because they like you. They're understood. They know that you have the best interest for them, that everything you're doing is to benefit them. So extremely important. The best takeaway that I could give, especially with my ELs, I feel like when I talk to them in their native language, when I say it in Spanish, it's like, oh, okay, like, you know, she understands me, like I know what she's saying, like she wants me to succeed. And that's what I want ultimately as an educator, for my students to know that I'm there for them. And last, I have home and school connections. So I put down family and community practices, also known as funds of knowledge, play a big role in language learning. These include the skills, values, and experiences families bring from their culture. When teachers recognize and include these in the classrooms, ELs feel more confident and connected which supports learning. To build strong partnerships, schools can host multicultural events, offer translation services, and invite families to share stories, tradition, or skills. Effective family engagement includes regular two-way communication in families in their home language, providing learning activities to do at home, and involving families in school decisions. Inclusive community practices include working with cultural organization, community centers, and bilingual volunteers to support learning, offer resources, and celebrate diversity. These efforts build trust, honor family strengths, and create a more welcoming and learning environment for ELs. So to basically sum everything up, I believe that the best thing an educator can do with ELs and all the rest of the students that are non-ELs is just have that communication piece, and that relationship is just extremely important with the student, with their family. Like, let the family know that they're engaged. When you send something home, let it be in Spanish, put it in Spanish and in English, so they could see that you're making the effort to truly communicate with them, and that it shows that you care as an educator. So thank you guys.